We talked earlier on this show about the idea that there are two skills to master if you want an extraordinary life, meaning life on your terms, whatever that means for you. One was the science of achievement, the other is the art of fulfillment. Two fundamental elements that you really want to be fulfilled is you have to grow, as I said earlier. Progress equals happiness. If you aren't even where you want to be, you're overweight, but you start making progress, you're going to be excited. You're not where you want to be financially, but you make progress, you'll be excited. We make progress and grow so we have something to give. When you give is when you feel most fulfilled. If you want to overcome, you want to have a more fulfilling life, you got to see what gets in the way. And what gets in the way is emotional patterns of suffering. Suffering would be being stressed or worried or fearful or angry or sad. And we all have the pattern of doing it because we have a 2-million-year-old brain that's designed not to make you happy. It's designed to really just make you survive. So it's always looking for what's wrong. We get what we look for. Seek and ye shall find. And I'll prove it to you. You'll even find things that aren't there just to feel successful. I'll prove it to you. You'll find whatever you're looking for. If you think you're messed up, you're going to find messed up stuff in yourself. You'll color it, or someone else. If you think you're great, you're going to find great things. So if you want to free yourself, you got to realize that we all suffer at times. And if you want to end suffering, you have to make the most important decision in your life, which says, I'm going to live in a beautiful state every day, no matter what, even when it doesn't go my way, even when there's injustice, even when people are unfair. Because are people going to be unjust and unfair in our lives, yes or no? And are you going to be unjust and unfair at times without meaning to be, yes or no? So if people have to behave a certain way for us to be happy, you're not going to stay happy. I've decided, as soon as I start to feel stressed, I kill that monster while it's little. I don't wait till it's Godzilla eating the city in my life. I stop it right away. So the way to do this, two things. One, you got to be honest with yourself that you suffer, and you got to identify what's your favorite flavor of suffering. I want you to notice whatever you're going in the pattern of doing, it sucks the life out of you. And when you're bored or you're worried or you're angry, you're not there with your kids the way you want to be, or your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. So what you want to do is catch it while it's little. Listen to me now. You want to change your life today? Trade your expectations for appreciation, and your whole life will change in that moment. So let's do a 2-minute meditation really fast. Now, it's not meditation like traditional, not think of something. How many of you have something in your life, some unfinished business that's stressful, and so you put it off and don't even try to think about it? It could be in your business, could be in your personal life, could be a relationship. How many got something at home or at work that needs to be handled and you put it off because you're so stressed, you got so much going on? Who's got something like this?
I get a lot of questions about how to start meditating, keeping in mind that I had a very severe allergy to the word and concept of meditation for a very long time, more than a decade. And I've only really consistently started meditating and implemented meditating for the last 2 to 3 years. This is why I think meditation can be viewed in a way as stoic training, or in some ways similar to CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, because the objective is to help you to observe your state and your thoughts so that you are less controlled by them. What does this mean? I'll use an analogy that I think was originally shared with me by Andy Puddicombe, who is the founder of something called Headspace, which I'll talk about in a second, which is the difference, in effect, being, say, standing out in the storm, getting pelted with rain and hail and wind and stinging your eyes and so on, being soaking wet, or standing inside looking through the glass at the storm. The latter is meditation. The way I've put it before, which is slightly different, it's the difference between being in the washing machine or standing outside looking into the washing machine. And when you have that somewhat detached observer perspective, you can just be much calmer, much more appreciative, and ultimately effective. I do not think that meditation causes you to lose your edge. This was a concern of mine, and I think it's a concern of a lot of type A driven people. But even if it did cause you to lose, say, 10%, who cares? Ultimately, you're trying to succeed and make more money, do all these things, build a bigger business to improve the quality of life for yourself or others, and you achieve that, I think, more directly in many cases by, even if you had to take, say, a 10% haircut on your edge, by improving your present state awareness by much, much more, 50 to 100%. So let's jump into a couple of options, right? So if you're not a dog, because dogs are always present state aware, then you need some human tools. One option, and this is the way I started very early on meditating, was listening to one song. So find one song that puts you into a good mood, and in the morning, all you're gonna do is sit comfortably. So this could be sitting in a chair, feet on the floor, just like this, hands in your lap. You generally are going to want some type of back support. You do not need a dog chewing on a squeaky toy. So I may intervene. Molly, come here. Or we'll grab that, there we go. Or you can sit like this, which is how I tend to sit when I meditate. So this is not full lotus, this is half lotus. It's not even half lotus, it's really just one foot tucked into the crease of my calf and thigh. And then I'm going to kind of pull the butt cheeks so that I have a nice little seat here, back flat. And then my hands are either gonna be in my lap like so, or I will actually post my hands on my thighs like this, which can also help if you have a tendency of slouching to keep your back straight. All right, listen to one song. For me, it was We're Gonna Party Like It's 1999, Prince. It's hard to be stressed out, worrying about things if you listen to that song, trust me. You can pick whatever poison you like, but this was shared with me by Kamal Ravikant. And he suggested listening to one song, doing nothing in particular other than listening to the song and breathing, and that's 3 to 4 minutes. That's it. So you can try that in the morning.
What makes people different is a flip in their fucking mindset. All those things that happen to you in your life, all those bad things, all those things that you blame other people for, they're now yours to own. You gotta figure out a way to reprogram your mind to get outside the box. A lot of people will listen to this and they'll be motivated, they'll be fired up. They'll be so fired up it's not even funny. Motivation is just kindling. It starts to fire. But that kindling, once one raindrop hits that little kindling, it's burnt out. It has to be something that's deep down inside. So motivation is like this. If you're married and your wife is okay and your bills are paid and the kids are good and the dog's good, if everything is good, you can find some motivation. Because while your life is happy, it's that motherfucker that wakes up in the sewer. Every fucking day has nothing to fucking go home to. Has nothing. Bills aren't paid. Doesn't know when the fucking next meal's coming. Doesn't know shit. And still says fuck it. I am going to do what I have to do to get to where the fuck I have to go. That's the difference between motivation and drive, and then soon obsession. Obsession makes a person, makes other people, like so when you're around somebody that's obsessed.
I'm a pretty skillful fighter, but that didn't come naturally. Failure is something that can be seen as a negative or a positive. In that instant when you fail, it's certainly negative and you're down in the dumps. Sometimes people go as far as being depressed from failure, but it's about using that failure to your advantage, understanding why you failed and trying to implement things that won't allow that failure to happen again. It takes commitment, it takes hard work and drive and determination and sacrifices and everything else, but I think there has to be an element of luck in your career and things have to fall into place at the right time. I suppose the more you train and the harder you work, the luckier you get sometimes, but things all have to fall into the place at the right time. There's always room for improvement, and that's what makes a fighter a better fighter.
If you want to achieve your goals, you have to step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. So I'm not scared of losing like I've lost in other situations in it. So, but
they're relentless. They're unstoppable. I didn't want to have to say, I wish I would have done more. You got to put yourself in that cage. I switched my mind to something else. I switched my mode into something else. It's go time.
But the difference between me and most people is you might be sweeter than me. You might be bigger than me. You might grind. Listen to me, I don't know. You might have money. I don't know where you come from, but you will not outwork me.
When I'm in that cage, bro, don't touch me. Don't talk to me.
All in emotion and execution. In theory and strategy and in execution.
If you want something, you have got to be relentless.
Been some places, my young friends, where I've walked to some schools in some different countries doing some volunteer work, and I'm seeing the facilities they in. I've met some kids that would love to come here and be able to go to a school that has a gym, or be able to go to a school that has AC, or to be able to go to a school that has desks, or to be able to go to school where they get their own books, and then some of y'all tablets and all these extra things. We are so privileged. What do we do with this opportunity that we have? I want to challenge you to make the most of it, to speak life, to love, to encourage.
Because some people think when you lose a dream or you lose something, that it's over. But you didn't lose who you are. You lost that thing, that placement. Life might not be adding up to what you wanted to add up to, but at least you have every single day is a new beginning. Every day is a new beginning. And certain days aren't going to look like you want them to look, but at least you have another chance. Like 150,000 people die every day. It's 55 million people a year. If you're looking for a blessing, realize that's your blessing. You have another opportunity at life.
He was homeless for 3 weeks, living in a New Jersey bus station. He also was so broke at one point that when he was writing the film Rocky, his electricity was turned off and he was forced to sell his dog for $25 just to get the lights turned back on. Then later on, he was rejected by talent scouts over 1,500 times. Probably most famous for his work in Rocky, Sylvester Stallone. She was once told that she didn't have the face for television. Your only shot to make it in this TV industry was to be behind the camera, not in front of it. Forbes mentioned that in 2004, she gave away 276 cars to members of her audience. She ultimately paved the way for many of our other beloved talk show hosts. Now, she has her own network. A name that brings smiles to people all over the world. He created theme parks with the reputation of being the happiest place on earth. His parks are created with creativity and imagination from the very second you enter into their gates. Long before he became known as the inventor of this magical place, he was fired from the newspaper that he once worked at.
If you care about your success more than anyone else, I promise you this, you will be successful at some point in time.
It's not enough to just say you want something. It's not enough to say I want to lose weight. It's not enough to say I want to get bigger. It's not enough to say I want to be stronger. I want to do this. I want to inspire. I want to motivate. I want to change my life. It's not enough to just say that. You have to do something every single fucking day to make that happen.
If you think a certain way, then so are you. That sums you up. If you think with a I can't do it attitude, guess what? You right. Because if you don't believe it, if you don't think it's possible, guess what? It is impossible, and you can't do it.